Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel and welcome to another GT Sport Daily Race C race and strategy guide. It's week number 15 and this week we are taking the Group 2 cars around the beautiful Italian circuit. It's Autodromo Lago Maggiore GP II. So the detailed settings for this one are on the screen as you can see. 10 laps to get round, tyre wear at times 6, fuel consumption at times 2, and thankfully unlike last week we have two different compounds of tyres. In this case the racing soft and the racing medium tyres, so they're definitely going to be an element of strategy for this week's race, unlike the Borefest that was the one make Veyron race around Monza on hard tyres with no strategy. So that is definitely a positive step forward from last week. So we're doing the flyover now of the circuit that we're going to be driving this week. As I said, Autodromo Lago Maggiore GP II, probably the flagship location for the fantasy tracks in GT Sport. This is the reverse way of doing this track, maybe not quite as popular as the original, but a very challenging and fun track indeed, especially in these Group 2 cars that we're going to be using this week. We're going to use the Nissan GTR here for the testing of the tyres and the strategy. I did have some plans to sort of test some of the other cars for the purposes of the video, but time was a little bit of a problem this weekend trying to get this video put together, so unfortunately never got around to testing any of the other cars. But I think it's safe to assume that the modern Super GT cars, or Group 2 cars as they're known in this game, will be the ones to pick. So that's the Nissan GTR, the Lexus 2016 and the Honda NSX, which I think the Honda NSX will be the car to pick for qualifying. This kind of circuit certainly tends to suit that car with its very fast bends. So moving on to the strategy, we're doing the one-stop strategy here. We're just starting on the soft tyres and then moving on to the medium tyres. And it's really just a case of how long are those soft tyres going to last. So tyre wear being at times 6 doesn't sound that high, but combine that with the soft tyres and a circuit where there is a lot of corners, a lot of pressure put on the tyres, and those tyres do wear out a lot quicker than you might expect. And to be perfectly honest with you, we were struggling by lap number 5 to really maintain those lap times. We've pushed on here onto lap number 6 just to see if we could get the 6th lap out of the tyres, but we are quite far down on our deltas. Definitely time to go into this pit now, put on the medium tyres and check out the pit loss and the fuel. So into the pit box we come now. It's the Group 2 cars, so the pit loss will be a little bit shorter than the Group 3 or the Group 4 cars. I can see not a massive amount of time before the car's into the box. We've got the tyres changed, we've got the medium tyres on, and it all amounts to around about 14.5 seconds lost in the pit lane. Now that is going to be significant in the strategy, as we will discuss a little bit later on in the video. In terms of fuel, no issues in this one, no surprises there. As I keep saying, week after week, with long time since we've had any kind of fuel limited daily race C. So we've moved on to the medium tyres now. We're only doing the 4 laps on the medium tyres. That's not going to be any issue with the tyre wear only being at times 6. In terms of lap time, they do seem to be significantly slower than the soft tyres, as you would expect. But even with the fuel burned off here on the second stint, we're still a good half a second, maybe 0.8 of a second off our best lap on the soft tyres. So quite a significant margin in performance between the medium and the soft tyres if they're both in the same kind of tyre life. Around about 1.3 seconds I reckon, and we'll kind of maybe look at that a little bit later on in the video as well. Finishing time there coming in just under 18 minutes. So I wasn't hugely satisfied with that run there, doing the 6 laps on the soft tyres and then 4 laps on the mediums. So we headed back out again. We did 5 laps on the soft tyres here and then 5 laps on the mediums. Now we were a good bit quicker over the first couple of laps on this run compared to our last run, but I think we took a little bit of life out the tyres because we just started to struggle after that. And then on the medium tyres we were doing an extra lap on the medium tyres, maybe pushing just a little bit too hard, and we actually went slower on this second run here. So the first run was nothing spectacular with the lap times, which seemed to be quite steady. We were definitely faster in terms of our best lap on the second run there, but actually finished with a slower overall finishing time. And we decided we would also give the sort of starting on the medium, moving on to the soft tyres a run as well, just to see how if we could actually get 7 laps out of the soft tyres doing the reverse alternative strategy. So 3 laps in the mediums, 7 laps on the softs, and again I don't know if I was just trying too hard, if it was just overdriving the car, but after a few quick laps on the soft tyres, they really just seemed to go. I just seemed to lose the tyres on this second stint here. And I know we are asking for 7 laps out of them, but the lap time just dropped off after 4 laps. So I think I just took too much life out of the soft tyres on the out lap, and then that first flying lap, and then struggled for the rest of the stint. So that's definitely something to bear in mind, that it's very easy to lose the tyres in this one just by pushing that a little bit too hard. And I think you could be rewarded in this one by being quite careful in your tyres over those first couple of laps, and then just having a little bit more life and performance towards the end of the stints. So we're on to that part of the video now, where we put all that information up on the screen that we've garnered over the first part of the video, just so it's there as just something you can look at and have everything all in the one place. Let's discuss each of the options in terms of strategy, what I think are the pros and cons, and why I think that relatively short for nowadays 14.5 second pit loss is going to play quite a big part. So option A in terms of the strategy is to start on the soft tyres and then move on to the medium tyres. Now this is going to be best used if you're starting towards near the front, where you can use the potential pace of the soft tyres without being hindered by traffic and fighting within the track. I reckon most people are going to be looking to do 5 laps on the soft tyres before moving on to the mediums. If you're pretty good on your tyre wear, you can definitely get the 6 laps out of them, but I think you have the big consideration as to when you're going to pit and whereabouts you're going to come out, because at 14.5 seconds, if you pit on lap 5 and people are going to lap 6, it's a good chance you're going to be coming out in amongst the traffic just with that slightly shorter pit loss. So it's definitely something I think that's going to have an impact on the race in this one, is people making that pit stop on lap 5, even lap 4, and come out into traffic and not being able to exploit the pace of their fresh tyres. Looking at option B, obviously this is starting on the medium tyres and moving on to the soft tyres. So this is going to be best used if you're starting in the mid-pack or towards the rear, as you're likely to get involved in some kind of fighting within the mid-pack or the rear and be unable to use the potential of the soft tyres at that point. Now 7 laps on the soft is definitely possible, but you will have to look after them at the beginning of the stint, or you'll risk being very slow towards the end. Starting on med near the front to me is quite a risk because of a big disparity in the tyre performance, so you're going to come under big pressure from people around you on the soft tyres if they start behind you, and the likelihood of falling into traffic after stopping after lap 3 is pretty high as well. So I'm not sure starting on the mediums, if you were within sort of maybe first 5 to 6 positions on the grid, is a very good idea at all. That's not to say you can't make it work, I just think there is pretty big risks involved in starting on the mediums towards the front of the grid. So let's move on to a little bit of a sort of lap guide in the Nissan GT-R around Lago Maggiore GP Circuit 2. Into turn number 1 we come there, you do want to be clipping that curb to try and help the car come round. It's a little bit of a blind crest as you come up to turn number 2 here, braking a little bit earlier you would than in sort of the Group 3 car. Very easy to go off the track to the right hand side there. Just let the car roll round the second part of that complex of corners, and then through this very fast section here is full throttle. You do want to be getting the line correct. This line of least resistance will be the quickest way, and then braking around about the 50 metre board there, trying to use as much of this curb as you can to help bring the car around nice and early on the throttle as we're on a nice long straight now down towards the fast left-right S-bends. Now these are taking full throttle in the Group 2 cars. Do not do any kind of overtaking here. Do not go side by side with another car through this part of the track or this part here. This part is absolutely sensational to drive in these Group 2 cars, but do be careful on the exit of the last S-bend here. Hit that grass there and it's very likely you're going to be speared off to the the right hand side of the track. Now come in here to a very tricky corner, one of the hardest corners on any of the circuits in Gran Turismo Sport, either in this direction or in reverse. So coming up to a left hander here, you're looking for the sort of start of the red sort of tarmac, I guess, there as a braking reference. Again, a very tricky corner here. Slight little lift here to make sure you can bring the car over to the right hand side of the track. Then braking a little bit earlier here than you might expect to try and clip this yellow part of the track on the inside, and not quite getting over there to the left hand side before we swing it into the right hander. And also be very careful of that wall as you come out of the last corner. You will see several people die there over the course of the week, I am fairly certain. Try not to be one of them. But that is the end of the video. That wasn't really a lap guide, it was just me talking about corners and dangers, to be perfectly honest with you, but If you're looking for a lap guide, do check out Tishney's video later on in the day. He will have a much better comprehensive lap guide than me, and definitely a better example of a driver to follow when it comes to that thing as well. But that's going to be the end of the video. Please do hit that like button, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hopefully I'll see some of you out on the track this week. Do say hello in the post race chat if you see me and you know me. I'll do my best to reply. But we'll do a couple of live streams of this race as well over the course of the week, so they should be fun. Please do join me for them if you can. And until then, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you on the next one. Goodbye now.